Hey everyone, Sean Smith here with Dedicated Commercial Recovery in Roseville, Minnesota. I'm the founder and CEO, continuing our interview series with our new general counsel, Jonathan Nelson. Jonathan, welcome to the show.
Yeah, good to be here. Thanks for having me, Sean.
And welcome to Dedicated.
Yeah.
He's not just going to be on the show. This is a long time in the making for us. Excited to share you with the world. We've been very particular with your position and just being a faith-based company and looking for someone that is going to share our value set. So I think it'd be great just to start out for you to give people kind of your background and how do you get from going into law school to all of a sudden here now at Dedicated.
Yeah, absolutely. So born and raised in Appleton, Wisconsin, transplant over to Minnesota for sports. Big football player, and so came over to play ball for the University of St. Thomas in undergrad, and loved my football family and had an opportunity to stay with the school and go to law school there at St. Thomas, and so pursued that path and came out of law school and ended up doing a lot of commercial creditors' rights for my first practice. And so helping creditors negotiate workouts, replevins, general collection actions. Got to enforce those contracts somehow, and sometimes it ends up in the legal world.
It did definitely fit well into Dedicated's scope of work. And I'd love for you to also go into a little bit of some of the things you've done with nonprofits and just other work that kind of led you to being interested in working at a company like Dedicated versus maybe another law firm, another type of company.
Yeah, absolutely. One of the things that I did in undergrad at St. Thomas is I was challenged to create a strategic plan for myself and look at what I wanted to do with my life and kind of what was the purpose of my life going to be. And so part of that was thinking about, well, what's the purpose of life in general? Mm-hmm. And that kind of spiritual quest led me to craft a strategic plan, and the overarching theme was that one day I wanted to be general counsel for a corporation so that I could influence that corporation to give back to the community and consider not only the shareholders but the stakeholders, so the surrounding communities in which it operates, including the employees of the company. Mm-hmm. And going into law school at St. Thomas, I had the opportunity to work with nonprofits. And that really clicked with me because I wasn't having to influence them to give. They were already doing it. I was just helping them to do it. And so when I found out who Dedicated was and kind of what the company was about, I decided that they needed a little bit more of a look from me. And when I read the mission lines up with essentially my strategic plan. Mm-hmm. And at that time, it just seemed like something that was a right fit for me, and it was going to be the best fit. I didn't anticipate that I would have an opportunity like this. I thought it was going to be further down the road, but if it's meant to be, it's meant to be.
Well, I think you were also part of our strategic plan, so it worked out really well. You're coming over to Dedicated. You kind of touched on some of the things that motivated you to come over and some of those synergies with that strategic plan. What would you say now that you've been on staff for a little while, what has, there's the outside of the cup, right? And then there's the inside of the cup. And for me, authenticity and not just that we have fancy marketing or these vlogs, but that the experience that people see on the outside is actually what they see on the inside. But I'd be interested in some of the unique things from your perspective as you've come over to Dedicated. What has been your experience? What has stuck out to you, I guess?
Yeah, I think number one is that people are nice. I mean, it's not a situation where the company rolls out the red carpet in the interview process and then you get in and they stick you in a dungeon. I mean, it's been red carpet through and through, and I think one example that speaks to that is a fellow employee gave up his office so that I could have an office so that we could have confidential meetings about legal advice and things like that. And to me, that act in and of itself just exemplifies Dedicated. And one thing that I heard from another key management employee resonated with me, and it's essentially that, hey, we care about people, but we're not going to let people walk all over us. We're going to stick up for ourselves. We're going to stick up for our clients. Mm-hmm. And to me, that just kind of goes to my core values. I don't think a lot of us grew up as kids thinking I'm going to be in the collection industry. I think a lot of us kind of fell into this industry, and for those of us that have stuck with it, it's because we believe in honoring obligations and sticking to your word. If you give someone your word, you're going to follow through with it. Now there's circumstances that affect people differently, and life happens. And so the ability to be flexible and counsel clients and work with people on both sides of the ball to get things done is something that means a lot to me, and I see that here at Dedicated.
Yeah, I think accountability is huge, and I'm with you on that. And it's always mystified me, and before I started Dedicated, as just the railroading effect of anyone on that accountability side. Like, everybody needs to be accountable, but there was no account for the human experience that is inevitable. And I found in working with counsel, and I'm sure you have, typically if you work with them, they'll work with you, and you can come out with a resolution. There's really no reason to be a jerk. You can just enforce the terms of the agreement and get something done. And that was important to us in our search for general counsel, and just that our approach, while may still be assertive and firm, and that we are going to make sure our clients are taken care of, we're also going to account for that human condition, and we're going to enforce the terms of the agreement, but respectfully. There was no reason to be disrespectful or bring emotion into it that doesn't need to be brought into it. So I'd say, as a bonus question that's not on here, where do you see Dedicated growing from where it is to where it's going, and how do you see yourself as a part of that?
Yeah, I think this is just the beginning for Dedicated. I think that as Dedicated gets the message out to clients and prospective clients, it makes sense for people to partner with Dedicated, whether you are a for-profit business and you have collection needs, or you're a nonprofit that's looking for a source of funds to go and do your good work. And I see myself fitting into Dedicated in terms of the company as a machine, as one of the gears that is going to not only continue to push the growth, but as part of the oil that's going to make sure that everything flows smoothly and that there aren't any malfunctions or breakdowns along the way because of dumb mistakes, whether they be legal or otherwise, that could have been avoided. I want to keep an eye to the future while also standing in the present to make sure that we're taking care of our current clients and positioning ourselves to grow with them.
Absolutely. I appreciate you going off script a little bit there with me. So as a kind of final question, what is one thing that most people wouldn't know about you?
I think the thing that most people are surprised of is that I'm an attorney. Most attorneys aren't rocking flannel shirts in the office. Most attorneys like to wear the three-piece button-up suit, but the way that I was brought up is to not judge a book by its cover. And I think that it always makes me happy to see the look on people's face and like, oh, you're an attorney. And it comes from, again, my background as someone who loves to be outdoors, be outside, hunting, fishing, doing power sports, snowmobiling in the mountains with my dad and my family. So not a lot of people get that from the first impression of the email that comes through or the phone call that we have. But once they meet me in person, I think they're at ease. They're like, oh, he's just a regular guy.
I think that comes down to our approach at Dedicated too, is connecting with people on a real basis. I've received even the feedback about these vlogs of like that I should dress up more, put a tie on. Like, I didn't start my own company to throw a tie on all the time. God bless y'all, but I want to be comfortable. I judge people more on the merit of their character than I do because they put on a fancy suit, and so that's very much in alignment with us. I do find it funny that the attorney's response is that most people wouldn't think you're an attorney off judging a book off its cover. Sure, there's no like ballet in there that you do, or maybe some art painting, anything like that. Where's some dirt here?
Yeah, I mean, I guess the best dirt that I can give is I was very into the music scene in undergrad, and I eventually started producing music with a lot of local artists who needed a producer in the studio. And so nothing crazy like a built-out basement, but digital audio workspace. And from there, it turned into DJing and working on my own music, and so opening up shows for other DJs and things like that.
See, that's the money information.
A lot of fun, but again, people would meet me and they had this associated with me of being like a DJ or a producer, and now they're like, "You're an attorney? Like, we would have never guessed. Like, that's what ended up." Okay.
That happens to me literally at every nonprofit event I go to. It's like, "Oh, what do you do?" I'm a debt collector. They're like, "What?" You know what I mean? Like, and I purposely kind of lead with that just to get the response because they're so caught off guard by it. So, thanks for joining us, and really thanks sincerely for joining Dedicated. It is such a mission-driven business, and we're so excited. I mean, it's been a long search for the right person with the right character, the right value set. And, this is a prime example about what Dedicated is about people who care about doing business and about winning, but not just that they win, but how you win. So, thank you. It's, we're the whole team is excited to have you on the team. And I am definitely excited to have you on the team. So thank you for that. And, thank you guys for tuning in. Thank you for subscribing. Please like, comment, subscribe. Ask questions. We love that stuff. We sincerely appreciate the people that tune into this. I go to conferences. I hear all this great feedback. If there's anything else you want us to cover sometime, let us know. But as always, thank you for tuning in. God bless. Thank you again, Jonathan, for being on the show.
Yeah, thanks, Sean. Appreciate you having me.